This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
So here's the putting green. See? There you go. Got two flags. One is over there where Cutter's Edge Pro. It's not coming out now. Come on. Come on, wind. Give me a little wind. No, unfortunately. But there you go. And this one says Big O here. There you go. So there's my putting green. It's about, I would say about 25 feet, something like that. I get to practice, have a little fun. See? And then, of course, we got, the bunkers. Got to have the bunkers, man. Got all kinds of bunkers there. You know what I'm saying? So that's a taste of our backyard. There's Maiden right there. Maiden. Bono, how you doing, Bono? Bono. He's a Carolina dog, by the way. These dogs are amazing. Their temperaments are awesome. But there is the Sylvester Palm, which is just beautiful. All right, call my guys, Will and Mike at Cutter's Edge Pro. They will take care of you. Dogs are not included, okay? Can't include the dogs. Those are mine. But the exceptional work, oh, baby. Oh, baby. Yes. Make your home an oasis. CuttersEdgePro.com. Go to their Instagram page, by the way, so you can see a lot of the before and after work that they do. And it is exceptional, baby. This thing's been on here for about 9 months. No grass growing through it or anything like that. Right, Bono? Huh? Bono!
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Just one place sold the most Acura models in the last 16 years. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Take up to $10,000 off a 2024 Acura during our 16th anniversary sale.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
More tables, more entertainment.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
There's a new sheriff in town at Toyota of Hollywood. Cash in your chips and get a great deal on over 2,000 Toyotas, like a Corolla, not 24,000, 17,975. Giddy up to the bank and get 2.99% financing on our most popular models. So mosey on down to our western town at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty, welcome aboard. Time to rock and roll. Just wanted to make sure I had, even though you're not seeing the Eiffel Tower, but you'll see it when, I do the interview. So I had to glance back to make sure I had it on. Anyway, welcome aboard. Time to rock and roll. It's like you get on and then you're doing like a whole bunch of other things at the same time. You're multitasking. Yes. Hope everybody is feeling well. I'm feeling good. I'm just waiting for this Bitcoin breakout that we're about to have, because it's at 69,500 right now. We're about to hit 80. We're about to pop. Can't wait. Ethereum. Boy, we got some news, man. You saw it yesterday. Bitcoin and Ethereum ETPs have been approved to be listed on the London Stock Exchange. So Australia is coming online. London's coming online. Hong Kong's already online. US. It's just getting out of control. We'll be at 100K before you even know it, man. Huh. How many of you are on the ride? Yes. All right. Anyway, what do we have? What do we have going on? We got the Panthers tonight. We got David Furones. He'll join us after a couple of days of boredom at OTAs or whatever, since he's got to cover that crap. So we'll talk about that. Not that there's anything earth-shattering, going on OTAs. We'll talk about that. And we have to talk about the exposure of some of you fans. So, because Frankie Fresco yesterday just did some stupid shit. So but what Frankie did is what a lot of other people do. So I can't blame Frankie for thinking or like that. But it's sad. It's pretty pathetic because it's kind of like, So, and I told him that yesterday, and we will explain, because there's lots of you that are kind of like Frankie too at the same time. So while we rip Frankie, we'll rip the rest of you at the same time on that one, because that was just kind of ridiculous on the overreaction with Tua. So we've got all kinds of stuff going on. By the way, on the Bitcoin Ethereum stuff that's been happening, especially on the Ethereum side. 2 days ago, one of you, I forgot which one it was, saying, hey, man, it looks like maybe the Ethereum ETFs. And, months ago, I thought the Ethereum ETFs would be approved in June, because a lot of people thought, February, March, right after they did the Bitcoin. They're going to do the Ethereum. I said, nah, this will be more like June. And then I thought, forget it. It looked like it was dead in the water. Let me tell you something what happened, okay? This is Biden. Biden is watching his ass fall behind, and their anti-crypto stance is freaking evil, okay? Because crypto is good for us, for human beings, not Americans, human beings, period, because it's worldwide. It's not an American, an English, an African, a Cuban, an Argentine, a Brazilian thing. No. It's a humanity thing. And so the people that are against it, it's because they know it's good, but they want to control us, right? And it's been mostly the Democrats that have been at it. The Republicans have been, there's more Republicans that get it, okay? Even a loser like Ted Cruz gets Bitcoin, okay? And if a loser like Ted Cruz gets it, I mean, come on, But you have people that are legit in the government that understand what's going on and how it is positive. They can use it in the government for their own purposes. If they would actually use the money instead of for wasting it on all these programs, buy Bitcoin, it would actually help their deficit, but they're too stupid to figure that crap out, but whatever. So what happened was this Ethereum thing was going down the drain, and Gensler was completely against it. So for those of us that follow the crypto thing, how did Gensler all of a sudden just change his mind? His boss. And it wasn't Elizabeth Warren. She's too stupid. That bitch is useless. It was Biden. And he must have said, no, we're not him, because he's also somebody on his cabinet probably told him, hey, you're messing it up. You're going to lose all these voters, all that. So there's a bipartisan bill that just passed. Bipartisan. Okay, this is the same thing that happened with the border bill recently, that it was bipartisan, and then because Trump and the far right want to use it as a campaigning tool, they had to shoot it down, right? Well, now here's another bipartisan bill come up with where the banks will have the opportunity to become holders for people, crypto holders and all that, because a lot of people are kind of uncomfortable with it, and they're so used to banks holding their money, they'll be used to that. And it's not a bad thing, actually, because it's going to keep banks alive too. They're going to die either way, so they need to transition to DeFi, the blockchain. They need to DeFi to crypto and Bitcoin and Ethereum and all that, because you all have to do it too. And eventually, so they noticed that this was going, and there's no way Gensler just changed his mind like that. So what happened was the people above are noticing what's going on. They can't hide it anymore. They can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. It's what I've been telling you guys for several years now, that it's going to take over whether you like it or not. Whether you believe in it or not. Those of us that believe in it, we're ahead of it. Those of you that don't, you're behind. But I'm telling you, and so all of a sudden, he changed. And then Trump is accepting crypto as donations and all that, and he's acting like he's Mr. Crypto now, he doesn't know shit about it either. It's the people around him that have been telling him, Vivek and whatever, and all the other Republicans. Cynthia Loomis is a super strong advocate of Bitcoin. She's a goddess for us crypto people, man. I don't care about Republicans or Democrats. I don't give a shit. I just care about the ones that actually get what's good for us, for human beings, and this is good. So politics was playing a part against us, and now as politics is playing a part for us. Now Trump and is on the bandwagon. Biden hasn't said it, but his actions just spoke, because there's no way Gensler. This was done. This was dead in the water a week ago. And all of a sudden it goes from dead in the water to a sure thing now. That's all the dirty play that happens up there with elephants and mules. So, or donkeys or whatever the hell they are. So, anyway, but just to kind of enlighten you on what's going on, if you follow what's the crypto stuff, I'm just going to break it down for you on what's actually really going on. So this is really good for us, because you know how it is. First they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then they join you. And that's what we've been going through the entire time. And we're way past laughing at us. We've overcome the fighting against us, and now they're all joining in. Everyone around the world is joining in because it's the right thing to do. It's a beautiful thing to be right, to see something before anybody else or most people, and then everybody else is going to, get on the bandwagon. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to be preaching something for several years now that many doubted, and I've turned some of you already, right? There's a couple of you out there, you're ignorant. I can't help you. You know what I mean? You people don't really adjust with things in life, and you actually don't know how to admit when you're wrong. And that's usually a problem for some people. Have a problem with admitting they're wrong, or they have a problem admitting they don't know something. It's the weirdest thing in life. It's like, there's nothing wrong with just saying, no, I don't really know about this kind of stuff. BlackRock files updated 19B4 form for the spot Ethereum ETF. So there you go. Ethereum is about to explode. I mean, explode. It's already moved like $800. I think it's gonna pop quickly to $7,000-8,000, and what I thought about 7 to 10 is definitely going to get there now, but it's going to pop quickly, man. I wouldn't be surprised if it pops to $5,000-6,000 right away. Now with these ETFs. So those of you that have invested in Ethereum and have stayed with it, God bless you, man. That's the good thing about talking about this kind of stuff. Even though I'm not the one that's going to get rich, I'll make a couple bucks and pay some bills off or something. But some of you out there that have real money that listen to me, man, you're going to make big. God bless you. That's all I got to say. God bless you. Happy for you, because anybody that has a decent amount of money is going to be able to make a lot of money if you followed a lot of the stuff that we've done over the last couple of years in talking about this and getting it at its bottom, which is absolutely amazing. Anyway, so there is my crypto corner for you all, and all the things that are going on and why we're enjoying the absolute explosion that is about to happen. Steve Chapman, I see, is number one on the board. Celtics should be a good series. Well, they should have lost yesterday. The Pacers gave that shit away yesterday. I mean, that was just, wait a minute. They just turned over the ball again right now, the Pacers. There you go. Way to go, Halliburton. Gonzalez is in the house. Tonight, the Panthers are back in action. Let's get that W. NorCal is waking and baking out in Martinez. There we go. He's doing a burpee base camp. Jamie Zoria out in San Jose. 2 West Coast guys in the first 4. How about that? I don't really know where Chapman is chiming in from. I know Steven is here. Let's see. Manolo Rivera, Captain Saki is in the house. Cap for Life. Ray Sosa, JC Norville, Oscar Rojas. He's in Harbor City of Melbourne, the capital of aerospace and surfing. Ryan AP, Kyle Cockrell is loving that crypto market. Jay Gelfin is in the house. Gordon Shumway, Chad, Think Blue Dodgers. Oscar says Inter Miami has the best strikers in the MLS with Messi, Suarez, Taylor, Kramoski, Campana, Rojas. If our defense can hold up and play well, we should bring home the cup. Not the chip, the cup. It's a cup in football. Yeah, it's just going to be a matter of outscoring because the defense sucks. Big Johnson is in with the thumbs up. Don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button. There's 102 watching already, and only 43 have smashed. Less than half of you have hit that like button. Come on, man. Come on. You guys can make it 100 in a second here. Heriberto Hernandez, Brian Walter, Cy Lovall, NorCal locking in the work account, One-Eyed Jack. I'm ignoring all negativity on Tua and the Fins this offseason. If you can't see that they're headed in the right direction, not even Big O can help you know. You know, yesterday it's funny because we're going to address the Tua overreaction about not being at OTAs. And Frankie Fresco sends me this embarrassing DM that I'll read to you guys. Here it is. Priorities, my friend. Even after winning a Super Bowl, and he's talking about Mahomes being at OTA, the guy's still showing up for voluntary OTAs, whether he does absolutely nothing. He knows he's a leader, knows his presence means more than anything. Tua does not see it that way. The difference between a leader and a sheep. And so I told them, bro, you're pathetic. You know, and it's typical of some of you fans that you have this utopian idea of what the perfect player is. And actually the perfect player is Tua, Frankie. Is any of you other idiots out there like Frankie that think that because he missed OTAs yesterday, he's not a leader? He's out there trying to improve himself. This is the guy that busted his hip and in 10 months was ready to play for a coach that didn't want him. Okay? For a coach that hated him. And he never pointed fingers at the coach. That's a leader there, Frankie. And by the way, his commitment, you know what it is? When you haven't proven anything, you work your ass off. He didn't have to fix the hip to play football. He probably could have made money and lived a good life, because he's a smart guy. He could have gotten a regular job, moved on, maybe do some announcing or something on the college level or something like that. Heisman Trophy, this, that, whatever, walk away, enjoy himself and, move around and, no, but he loves football. So he busted his ass 10 months to get back in to play in the NFL and to play behind Jesse Davis and get killed. Not point any fingers because he's a winner. A leader plays with broken ribs, Frankie. A leader plays with broken ribs and a fractured finger and is still completing a 50-yard floater downfield to Waddle. A leader is on fourth down. He's, knifing through two defenders in New England for a fourth down and a touchdown, a clutch win, which, of course, people don't ever remember shit like that because people like you, Frankie, are worried about some fucking stupid, useless OTA that, by the way, an OTA that Tyreek, Waddle, Odell, Mostert, Jonnu, Jalen, Sealer, Fuller, and Shaq also missed. Okay? So I don't know what you think a leader is, but I think a leader is a guy that, hey, the coach doesn't want you around, but then all of a sudden sees Jabroni Brissett struggling, and he calls you to come off the bench. And you're not like, hey, bro, why should I come off the bench? You're a dick. You don't want me here. You told me you don't need me. Comes off the bench to bring him back against Baltimore and win. Everything about Tua is leader. He played with a concussion, Frankie, not just ribs, not just a fractured finger, not with only a coach that can't fucking stand him and didn't want him. He also played with a concussion, because we all know he was concussed in that Buffalo game. Oh, no, it was a neck thing. And then he came back and played. That's not a leader. That's not somebody that's willing to sacrifice. I don't know, Frankie. I don't know if you know what the definition of a leader is. But all those things that he does, everything about him is leader. Everything. When a player is willing to do whatever it takes to be the best he can be, okay, like building up his body, he couldn't do it in OTAs. He had to go do it with Nick Hicks. Understand? So now he's working with John Beck to become a better passer, a more agile passer, because he understood he needs a little bit more mobility. That's what a leader does, Frankie and other idiots out there that are overreacting about missing a fucking stupid OTA. I mean, you people sound pathetic, bro. You're picking on Tua for missing a useless OTA when he's doing something much more important, because he's actually improving himself all throughout the offseason. Yesterday, it was a golf tournament. Shit happens, dude. And these OTA days are missed by players all over the league. I've been doing it for 34 years. They have babies, they have weddings, they have family gatherings, they have professional commitments, they have important people in their lives that they have to go, whether it's a charity event, whether it's your former coach, whether it's maybe a big-time teammate of yours or something like that. Brother, that there are sacrifices that have to be made in life, and there are relationships that you make throughout your history, Frankie, and you're tied to those relationships and those commitments, and they're like family. And Saban is like family to him, and he will do anything for Saban, and Saban will do anything for him. There is a symbiotic relationship there that you and I cannot relate to. But these gentlemen, hey, it happened to fall on this day of the OTA. It's not during training camp. It's not in the preseason where he's missing a game. It's not in the regular season. It's not important shit like that. It's an OTA in May. An OTA in May where you're doing nothing. Apparently, Frankie, Shaq Barrett just got here, and he's not at the OTA. Who else? Jonnu Smith just got here, not at the OTA. Kendall Fuller just got here, not at the OTA. Odell Beckham just got here, not at the OTA. I guess they're not committed to their profession. I guess they must be incredibly unprofessional, right? I mean, that's kind of the way it is. When a player, all they do is show you leadership. That's all Tua has ever shown, leadership. He has been the adult in the building more than some of the people that have been in the building. Because Flores wasn't showing leadership by backstabbing the front office and his owner and everybody else and his quarterback. And meanwhile, here's Tua taking hits from everybody and never pointing fingers. That's leadership, dude. The sad part is, Frankie,
you're old enough, and you speak Spanish. Tienes pelos en el culo suficiente para saber. You know what I'm saying? You got enough hair on your balls. You've grown up enough to probably figure this out yourself, and you still have it, and you're overreacting about a May OTA. And the rest of you idiots overreacting about a May OTA. I hope you sit back and realize you're an embarrassment. You're pathetic. Okay? You're a joke. All that guy does is anything and everything to be a better player. Can't be a better person. He's already there. I'll never get there, but he's there. But I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm honest enough to tell you I'm not going to get there. So I'm not sure, but all I ever see from Tua is pure leadership, dude. That's all. All I see is sacrifice. He's not about being on his Instagram. He's not about his brand. He's all about team. That's leader, Frankie. The guy that's all about the team. What can I do to help my team? The crazy son of a bitch will put a shoulder into somebody when we don't want him to do that, but he'll do it. I mean, I don't know, man. I love everything about Tua. Everything. Okay? How he is made is absolutely perfect. He is a warrior. Is he built like, Adonis? Is he built like Cam and Josh Allen and those big sumbitches? No, dude. No, I know that. I understand all of that. But that doesn't mean he can't be a great player, because Joe Montana wasn't built like that, and neither was Drew Brees, and neither was Bob Greasy. And they all learned how to be great players in their own right, in their own way, and they were all right in the way they played the game. And I've seen the Fran Tarkentons of the world. I've watched different kinds of players have success. You don't all have to be like Ben Roethlisberger and be 6'5" and, be a big giant guy. Hey, if you have that, that's great. But he's got all the other things, all the tangibles and all the intangibles that you need. And the problem is, some of you out there, since Frankie, since you're not a believer, you come up with this kind of bullshit. It's the same. I've exposed all you Tua haters the same way. All of you Tua haters, I've exposed you the same way. You come up with stupid shit to try to defend your position. That's all it is. That's all it is. All you people that reach for stupid shit, just like Frankie Fresco did, it's the same crap, dude. All you're trying to do is justify your position. And you're picking on a guy for missing an OTA or OTAs or whatever that he's missed in the last couple of weeks because he's either improving himself or because he had a prior commitment to something that he does for a freaking, it's Nick Saban. You should kind of understand the relationship with those two. I don't get it. It's like, come on, man. If you followed sports long enough, players and some of their coaches, they become incredibly close with them, and they will do anything for some of their coaches. I don't know if this is breaking news for anybody. I'm not exactly sure how I'm enlightening anybody with any of this stuff. If you have just a slice of intelligence, a slice of awareness, all you got to do is just watch the young man. He spews leadership. So there you go, Frankie.
That's just the crap I've heard from Frank and others. Just it's embarrassing. I just got to say, absolutely embarrassing. Anyway, let's see. Nyborg is in the house. Giovanni Ray. Yes, we will talk about Holland too. I'll get to that one, Giovanni. We'll get it after the one and only David Furones joins us. We'll address that and a couple of other Dolphin topics also. Another one that I want people not to be overreacting on. Let's see what else. Donardo Joseph, Giovanni in, Alex Palenzuela, Lenny Pena. When the Samoan sniper signs his deal, I wonder what the haters are going to say. Well, yeah, he's overpaid and all of that. Cy Love all, Nyborg. When Bitcoin hits 80, it's Perdomo victory cigar time. You know it. We just need to hit 73, 74, and the shorts are going to be liquidated, and that'll inject about 1.4 billion into Bitcoin, and that will catapult them into the 80s. Okay? And then I think is when retail FOMO starts. Once we get into the 80s and 90s, people will freak out because it's something like new to them. The 67 to 70 range is not impressive to them because they've seen it twice already, 3 times, 4 times already from the original time 2 years ago. So that's why it doesn't, we need to really rock the retail before they actually get on board. Anthony Campos, Roderick Freeman. My prediction, for what it's worth, Panthers in 6. Right. Alex Toledo, Zaslow doesn't have a boss anymore. He could do whatever he wants. It's great for him. Yep. He's doing his own thing on his own platform. I'm happy for him. And he's doing some wrestling stuff, and I know he likes that shit too, so good for him. Jeremy Dorsett is in. Nate Gahn. Woodson. Veggie Tav. Got my reverse retro jersey ready for tonight. Hope the Cats have a strong physical game. I'm with you. Well, they'll play physical every time. Willie is in the house out in Colombia. Ocala Joe is listening on the road, headed home. There we go. Tank is in the house. Louis M. He says the playoffs are a disaster. He can't watch more than 5 minutes without falling asleep. Man, last night's game was fun, actually. I mean, Pacers choked it out at the end, but it was fun. They should have won. Should have won in regulation, bro. That was weak sauce. That was big time weak sauce. All right, let's do it. Let's talk a little Miami Dolphins football. OTAs are going on with the Miami Dolphins. David Furones and our Welt and Realm Miami Dolphins report next.
All rise, football fans, as the Welt and Realm Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
All right. How you doing, man? You did you need like an extra batch of caffeine or anything to did you bring in a couple of Red Bulls or something like that? While you were watching the OTAs?
I was going to say,
plenty of people said, "Yeah, I'm not interested. I'm not going." So I'm just wondering,
I was going to say, Big O, you were yawning in the introduction to this OTA segment for our Welton Realm Miami Dolphins report on OTAs. I mean, I hope I can keep you awake. That's all.
Yeah, I just know football-wise, there's nothing really, going on, overall. There are storylines. There are some things, to talk about. Although I just had fun because one of our guys, Frankie Fresco, who I love, but it's just ridiculous reaction, because Tua wasn't there yesterday, and he was like, well, look at Mahomes and a real leader, or this, that. And I'm like, dude, these are OTAs. People miss these things all the time for all kinds of different reasons. And to me, Tua is the embodiment of a leader. All he's ever done is shown you leadership from the beginning, dude. He got onto a team with a coach that didn't want him and hated him. Never pointed any fingers. Kept his mouth shut. The guy busted his hip and worked his ass off in 10 months to be ready to play, in the NFL. Played with broken ribs, played with a broken finger and a broken rib, was told to go away, Baltimore week. All of a sudden, Jabroni struggling. They call him off the bench. He doesn't say anything, brings the team back. I mean, he has the concussions. What does he do? He works on it. He understands he's got to get rid of the ball quickly. Boom, he adjusts. Now, he builds his body up for it. Now he understands, okay, I need a little bit more agility. Okay, let me trim myself down, get a little bit more agile, yet still keep the strength up, all that kind of stuff. Let me go to a QB coach. I mean, he is the embodiment, the definition of leadership, dude. He does whatever it takes to win a game, to play the game, to stay healthy, to whatever it is, dude. Ask him to do this, and that's exactly what he does in order to be better at what he does. I don't know what more you can actually ask from Tua Tagovailoa to be a leader. What, to have to be there at an OTA in May? Come on, dude. Come on.
And it was probably telling that so many of the key veterans were not at Tuesday's OTA session. After we did see some of them on the social media post from Monday, they were there for the first one. Tuesday, of course, was the first one that media was allowed to be present at. So how much is Tua really missing at an OTA when Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Odell Beckham Jr., Jonnu Smith, Raheem Mostert, Teron Armstead, none of those guys on offense are there. So do you really need him getting all these reps to Jody Fortson, who, by the way, was actually one of the standouts from yesterday's session? Do you need him getting reps throwing to, Eric Ezukama, that might be nice. Matthew Sexton, guys like these. So listen, it's all right. It works to even more so to the argument that it's okay when you see the list of guys that weren't present at Tuesday's OTA session. And like you were mentioning, Tua has so many things going on in his life. Now, Tuesday, it was that he was going to Nick Saban's charity golf tournament, something important to him, his college coach. Of course, it was predetermined from well in advance that he couldn't make that day. And it's not like he's missing a training camp or anything for this. It's an OTA in May. It seems like there's an understanding. These are excused absences. Mike McDaniel's not too concerned about it when he's there or not there, a combination of the two for these offseason workouts, because he's doing his own thing, getting right, whether it's losing that body fat, trimming down, getting more agile in his training that he's doing on his own, working with John Beck. You see a little bit of that hip twitch that he's added into his motion to be more efficient. He's doing his thing to get right for the season, and then it's in line with what the organization wants, and then eventually he'll get those reps, and he has gotten some of those reps with the guys that he needs to this offseason, because he's even done his individual work with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. So, and then he'll get even more so once you get closer to when you're really playing football and training camp, and you start getting into having the pads on and then really getting going toward the season.
See, I don't bog myself down on I have to do it, address the stupidity that gets out there, because unfortunately, what is that? What the hell is that? Because it's not just Frankie, it's other people that are overreacted with that stupidity. But see, I'm a real football geek, so I actually look at the game a little different. I look at what went on yesterday a little different, and I'll give you an example. You gave me something right there that I can just throw out for everybody else, so you and I can chew on for a moment here. You just said Eric Ezukama was on the field, correct?
Yeah.
Was he running around catching passes?
Oh, yes, yeah. He was one of the better players there for that OTA session. He had one of the better days.
why don't we get into a storyline that actually means something out there? Let's really talk football on this fucking show, because that's what we fucking do on this show. Okay? They didn't go after a big receiver. We were wondering what's going on with Ezukama, because we don't know, because they don't tell us, because of the HIPAA shit. Let me tell you something. That building, brother, the HIPAA shit, that's like a neutron. That's a neutron bomb. That's COVID. They don't touch it. I'm telling you, as a guy that tries to dig in and find info, they don't want to touch injuries. They are unwilling to tell you anything about any injury for anybody. That's just the way it goes. They respect the hell out of that. But you know what? Throughout the entire offseason, what? No Claypool. Hey, why don't they go get a big receiver? This, that. And one of the things we mentioned on this show, I said, they're not getting somebody. I wonder if Ezukama's making progress behind the scenes. And if you want to talk football and something that means something, okay, you guys wanted a big receiver, right? Well, there you go. Here's your first nugget of maybe a big receiver might be available to the Dolphins, because they have kept him on this roster for over 2 years now, which tells me the same thing of Austin Jackson, the same thing with Liam Eichenberg. When they have conviction on somebody, when they believe in you, they are going to give you every opportunity until they run out of patience. Clearly, they have not. So this was a nice sign yesterday. You want to talk football? Okay, here you go, Dolphin fans. You guys wanted a big receiver? Maybe Ezukama is still in the mix. And here you are saying that Fortson and Ezukama were the better guys. And guess what? The midgets, the Oompa Loompas, were off yesterday. And yesterday you had the guys on stilts running around. And look, you got to see a couple of the guys on stilts. Fortson is a former big receiver, turned tight end. And here we got Ezukama, a big receiver that they have been wanting to use as a runner and as a wide receiver. So please enlighten us on what you saw in Ezukama, because that's the kind of football talk I want to get into.
Yeah, Ezukama, I mean, several slant routes over the middle. He made I counted 3 catches in that practice. So good to see that. You know how much Mike McDaniel's offense can utilize that middle of the field on those slants. So another option there, and bigger body, like you say. So presenting some size.
Did you see any?
No thanks to him. What I did, the big cat play that Fortson made was a 45-yard touchdown over the top. I took advantage of Nick Needham playing more safety. Javon Holland told us that he's working at both nickel cornerback and safety, so kind of going back and forth. And on that particular play, yeah, Needham was the deep safety on that side of the field, and Fortson made a move on him, got open, and then got to the end zone. It was that UTEP undrafted quarterback, Gavin Hardison, that threw that one, who throws a nice ball, by the way. I mean, not like, he's just an extra arm there, but I mean, good arm on the kid.
Well, it's kind of like the other kid last year who didn't have a bad arm, Blackman or whatever.
Yeah, Blackman, Glade Central, yeah.
He just didn't kind of know where it was going, and that was kind of his issue. But athletically, he had some juice to him, actually. He had an arm. And so now you're telling me here's another guy, maybe there's a little bit of raw materials there with him,
Yeah. Just I know his interceptions were pretty high in college, so something to watch as far as decision making. But he's going to be working. He was third team, of course, with Tua not present, and Skylar Thompson, Mike White leading the top 2 units. So
usually when you get that deep, those kind of guys have warts, as Parcells said back in the day. Those guys are going to have warts. They're either going to be, you said interceptions. Maybe he's a bad decision maker. Right. Maybe he's like Blackman, that it's kind of the accuracy is not there. Or a couple of years ago, they had this kid he was a local kid out of Western Kentucky or something, and he didn't have a strong arm. Smart kid, had accuracy, but it wasn't.
Brandon Dowdy.
Dowdy.
Yeah.
Right. In a strong arm. So you see, there's always a wart. There's something that's, because when you get to that deep, the kid's a raw project one way or the other. He might not be smart. He might not have a strong arm. He might make some bad decisions. He might have, an inaccurate arm or something like that. So I'm not surprised. They're going to have some kind of trait they like, but then there's some other ones that they're going to have to try to polish up to see if they can make something out of it.
Yeah.
That's all.
So I mean, a candidate that, as the roster is currently constructed, that if they can keep him as the practice squad quarterback, something like that, then that'd be an extra arm during training camp to be that fourth guy. If the roster remains the same with those quarterbacks, but to wrap up on Ezukanma, the neck issue, we didn't know much about it, just that it was pre-existing, and then he was on the non-football injury list for it, so not injured or reserve. So noting it's kind of like something off the field issue, and he said he was concerned for the state of his career going forward, his future based on it, but that right now he's 100% and he's full go, and he looked pretty good. And you think back to last season.
Again, you think about it, in the offseason, they didn't even explore a big receiver.
Yeah.
Not even explore. So that's why it tells me that behind the scenes, they must have liked the progress that Ezukanma. And remember, here's another positive. This is what I like. I like talking football. Here's another positive. This is also the third year for Ezukanma to be in the system.
Yeah.
So if you can finally get him on the field, and if he can stay healthy, he has made plays for you, and he knows the system, and the players know him, and Tua has been throwing to him now for a couple of years. So there's a lot of positives to it, that even if you brought someone else in, that person has to make a complete transition and learn everything. Whereas Ezukanma doesn't have to learn the scheme, doesn't have to get comfortable with the players or anything like that. He just has to kind of finish himself overall to kind of figure everything else out.
And that's the age-old thing they would say about receivers, right? The year 3, they take a sleep. At least I remember it sort of, growing up when I was younger, high school years. Then probably we had so many young receivers flashing as rookies and second-year players that it kind of went away. But hey, even I remember Randy Moss. I mean, his rookie season was phenomenal. So maybe not for everyone, but a lot of receivers that they take a stride in year 3, and especially being in that same system. And even at the start of last season, you saw that Mike McDaniel had little ways that he liked to get him involved. You saw in that opener, getting him on those jet sweeps, end around motions, and getting him involved in some carries even. So maybe somebody
just put here, Easy had 10 rushes for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns his senior year. So, and that's what I've talked about, that he's a dual facet type player, and that's the way they've looked at him, that he's not only a receiver, but he can be used in the run game. And I think that's why it's interesting. I'm glad to hear that he's out there, because that's kind of a dimension that we've kind of been looking for to add. And the fact that they've kept him around, here's another football note to talk about. It's almost like, is he anti-big guy? Well, maybe he's not. It's just you have to fill the quota. You have to have some speed. Okay, now you got Jonnu, who is a fast tight end. You got the kid you just said, the other big tight end that's a former receiver. Fortson. He's got speed to him too. You know what I mean? And then Ezukanma can run for a big kid. So there has to be a certain requirement in order for him to accept you, I guess. And the fact that they've kept Ezukanma around, bro, for all this stuff means they like him, they want to give him a chance, and he fits what they want to do.
Yeah, and you mentioned the run game aspect. Keep in mind, Mike McDaniel was the one that produced that Deebo Samuel 2021 season, rushing the football over there before, and he was offensive coordinator that season. That was his 1 year in that role before then making the jump to head coach of the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, what else? Give me something else that you saw.
All right. So, I mean, yeah, there were so many of the key guys that were missing, but among starters, then you did get to see, even though maybe it was just like some 7-on-7 drills, but the inside linebacker duo, Jordan Brooks, David Long, lining up with each other, getting some communication going. Same thing with the safeties and Jordan Poyer and Javon Holland in some 7-on-7 settings even, but just working in tandem there as the two guys there. Devon Achane, he had a nice deeper route along the sideline for about 15 to 20 air yards, and then even more so on the ground, making yards after the catch there. So Anthony Walker Jr., the veteran inside linebacker as well, he tipped up a pass from Mike White. It was on this throw, and tipped it up. It was over the middle, jumped up for it, tipped it up high in the air. It came right back down to him. So he had an interception. Javon Holland nearly had an interception of his own. I know, Patrick McMorris over the top as a safety had one that he was on, but that it kind of like bounced off his shoulder pads. Almost had a pick there. So, among some of the highlights there. Yeah, and Ezukama, several catches over the middle. That Fortson touchdown stood out. Grayson Murphy, this undrafted outside linebacker, had a good pass rush around the edge. And I think it was it was Hardison on this throw, and he actually hit his arm, which I don't think the coaches want in a practice setting like this. But he got around the edge, got to the quarterback, so maybe a little too eager to make a play on the actual quarterback. Those guys in the red jersey, let's try not to touch them.
Did they do any one-on-ones for the O and D linemen? No, right?
Well, I mean, they had the O lineman working over to the side in some 7-on-7. So then that 7-on-7, my eyes might have been more on that action. But I did notice them, and probably were running through some drills, but they weren't in pads anyhow. So as far as how much you could tell from the linemen, then
can you tell us who was playing guards?
That's one of the things that's forbidden in
my bad. Sorry.
In this session, but it was interesting. One thing is, it was in my coverage too, that there was a snap exchange, so you could tell what position this player might have been playing. That was fumbled between Jack Driscoll on a snap and a quarterback. So. There's a tell there. I won't say what position that is, but yeah, there wasn't no swinging gate where another offensive lineman was snapping the football outside of the one that usually does.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So he's working in there, and I mean they don't have Aaron Brewer wasn't participating in team drills on this day. So as far as a center on the roster, Connor Williams is still a free agent. So they had to work out different guys there. Liam Eichenberg did some slight, that's
ask, because I know that Phillips Chubb, Cam Smith, Chop were on the side working. So they were
Cameron Good too. Yeah.
And Cameron Good. But I was wondering, Liam Eichenberg, he was all beat up by the end of the year. Was he healthy? Was he looking good?
He was out there participating, but not too many reps that I saw. So he was in there. Yeah,
he was out there moving around, is what I'm saying. He was out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and even in team portions, he did get in there. I think I can say he's a center. He did play center last year, so that's nothing newsy. But since you mentioned the guys working on the side, Jalen Phillips. You can tell there's still a little bit of a hitch in his step. A slight limp. So, so not maybe as far down the line in progress as maybe you would hope if you wanted to see him getting into football drills too soon. But I mean, it's a very serious injury that he's coming back from. Achilles end. Progress is not linear in these cases. So, you can be feeling great about your progress at one point, maybe plateau for a little bit. So, he's still got some time to rehab.
Yeah, come on, bro. We're in May.
Exactly. Yeah.
An Achilles injury. You can't expect this guy in a couple of months to be, ready to go and all that. It's gonna take a while for Jalen Phillips to come back. Chubb's the guy that's gonna come back faster because the ACL is easier to come back than the Achilles. Achilles is gonna take a while, and you're not gonna see Phillips be the real guy till 2025, dude. That's that, like get ready for that. Jalen Phillips will not be himself at all this season. At all. He might help out a little bit, but he's not going to be himself until next year is when he'll have the bend and he'll have, the confidence to do all that kind of stuff. He's not going to have any of that right now.
The push off. I mean, think about it. It's going to be in his head. He's going to have to get over a mental hurdle. That same push off that he tore the Achilles on. It's tough to get over once he does get it right. So that will definitely be a mental hurdle. But good thing for both him and Chubb is that you didn't see them wearing anything protective, like whether it's compression or a brace in Chubb's case on the knee. They seem to be, Chop Robinson did have a compression sleeve on one of his legs. So maybe something to monitor going forward. But like you said, it is May. So we're still a long ways away from serious football.
Here's what you do. You have a mental note on Chop now, right? And you say, okay, well, a little ding, that's not a big deal. They always take the precautionary approach. We're in an OTA. There's no hurry, bro. We need you ready for training camp and all that. We just need you going through mental reps and be in the classroom and all that kind of stuff. Now what you need is the next time around, okay, where's Chop? Oh, he's on the field. He's working. Okay, good. Boom. It was nothing, a little bump in the road. Now, if it's something that lingers and you're back in a mini camp a month from now, and he's, now you got to okay, wait a minute, what's going on here? You know what I mean? So that's, the first glance, no big deal. Does it linger is the question. And that's where we'll keep an eye on Chop to see if it lingers, whatsoever.
And we did see him in rookie mini camp, working on either side of the ball on the edge. So there was that. So just as recently as rookie minicamp, he was out there participating in drills. So a little something. But what's most important, like you said, is getting those mental reps as a youngster right now.
Dude, he could have been working on it in the building and doing some stuff with his coach or whatever, and getting some, learning some drill, and he might have, tweaked something at the moment, and then that's just kind of, it's not a big deal. Jalen Wright, by the way, how did he look? Because that, I don't care about Mostert and I don't care about Etienne. I know what the hell they are, dude. This is an OTA. I don't need to see them, bro. I don't care about Armstead right now. As long as he's healthy, that's all I give a shit about. But the Jalen Wright kid, I know you saw him in the rookie camp. How about this one?
Yeah, just a little bit, not too much. I do think he has that burst that we mentioned from rookie minicamp. Now it's interesting. He was wearing a helmet cam, so maybe we get footage of his perspective on some of these drills, and Mike McDaniel can get in and really get with him, see what he's seeing, and tell him what he should be looking at as he tries to maximize his runs. Run north and south. Take the yards that are there, etc. But one thing.
Don't be surprised if Mostert is sitting there with him looking, and not just McDaniel, but Mostert telling him, hey, this is what you got to see here and that kind of stuff. Because one of the things that's very important with that cam, it's a teaching moment for him. And remember, they made that trade for the kid from the Cardinals, and then he ended up in Denver. We thought because he came from a similar type of system that he would make the transition. And the poor kid, he never really made that transition. He always made the wrong decisions, unfortunately for him. And it didn't end up becoming a good match. So I think the Jalen Wright thing, again, is very important, teaching moments, so you can try to avoid what you avoided with the Arizona kid.
Yeah, Chase Edmonds, the thing with him was he was so much inside zone experience. Right. So outside zone was a little bit new to him. He was trying to pick it up. I remember that was a big thing, that whole training camp, and then it didn't quite translate into the right decision making. But Jalen Wright, funny you mentioned him. Then toward the end of drills, that final period of practice, then he went over the sideline and just projectile vomited down. That's that heat and humidity getting to him. And I also wonder if there's helmet cam footage of it went through the floors of the sorry not to gross, I don't want to gross people out. I'm sorry for any viewers who might be eating something right now as they listen, but yeah, it went through the bars of that face mask. And Javon Holland, a good teammate, he was nearby. Tried to get him some water, you know, pick the kid up. But man, first May practice in this heat and humidity. Comes from Tennessee, so some heat and humidity, but not quite like down here.
Not our humidity. That's the difference. Our humidity is worse than most places. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it is. All right, what do you got going on the Sentinel, folks? So folks can check you out.
Yeah. OTAs definitely caught everyone up on the Tua situation. Mike McDaniel's updates on that, on Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, what we saw OTAs, a lot of what we covered here, and also like we covered here, I'll be writing on Eric Ezukanma after talking to him. Javon Holland's big revelation is a quote just saying that Anthony Reid is just actually a good guy as opposed to Vic Fangio last year. So that made some headway across the nation. Dolphins' first media or open to media OTA.
Yeah, that was good stuff by him. I mean, he kicked rocks before, so
yeah. We knew where he stood on that.
Yeah, and he danced around that too. Oh no, that was just sure, whatever. Yeah, we were born yesterday. All right, follow him on Twitter at @DavidFaronis_ and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. David, thank you, my brother. We'll catch up on Friday.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. And Welton Rayom, hey, listen, we got like 9 days, and we're on June 1st. We're in hurricane season, and you guys know, man, I try to guide you. And you know what I just told you before when the show started? I got something to follow up. You know how I tell you I guide you guys, and I try to give you the best info out there? Well, here's the same thing. Welton Rayom, we got hurricane season in 9 days. And it's going to go all the way to the end of November. If, God forbid, we get hit by any kind of storm, even if it's not a hurricane, it's some kind of a rain system. And nowadays, the systems are carrying way more water up there. So there's water damage all the time, whether it's condo homes, whether it's a busted pipe. Call Welton Rayom, 954-966-4646, not just for bankruptcy, but homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. Jeff Welt and Daniel Rayom are absolutely amazing people and great lawyers. 954-966-4646. You call them first. They will send their adjusters, and then they will call the insurance company on your behalf. And the insurance company will have your full attention when they get a call from a lawyer, not from a client. When they get a call from us, they're laughing at us. Behind the scenes, they're like, yeah, we got a sucker, and they're gonna run circles around us because you and I don't know the laws and the loopholes. They do. Call Welton Rayom, 954-966-4646.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Faronis. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Sean Ocalajo is he might be on to something because we have the Sportstradamus. He's right. We should come up with a Cryptodamus because I told you before the show. I mean, at the beginning of the show, with everything going on in crypto, okay, that Biden and these clowns have been against crypto like crazy. Now Trump got on the bandwagon. Not that Trump knows anything about crypto, but the people around him and the Republicans are way more pro crypto than Democrats. Democrats they want CBDCs, and that's not going to happen because people don't want that kind of shit. Although the digital dollar will come eventually. But anyway, my point is, I told you the Ethereum ETFs were not going to pass. Gary Gensler was not letting it. He was going to give it a lot of trouble, and it was going to struggle to even pass by the end of the year. From day to night, the entire thing changed, and to me, it was Trump's getting on the bandwagon of accepting Bitcoin and crypto as donations because he's desperate for money. So he's going to get money wherever he can. And so all of a sudden, and then Biden sees all the negativity everywhere for going against crypto. And look what just breaks. And I told you that it was Biden that is the one that, not Biden, because he doesn't know shit, but somebody in his cabinet told them, yo, you better turn your stance on this crypto stuff because it's gonna explode on you. And the guy running against you is getting, the inside track on you. Just in, President Biden's administration says it's eager to work with Congress to create balanced regulatory framework for digital assets. That's the first time that piece of shit actually said anything positive about crypto. Okay? Because him and Warren and all those other clowns, all they've done is shit on crypto and done everything. Look, all you people out there tell me all the time, oh, I'm struggling. I can't buy crypto. My bank's not letting me. Why do you think that happens? Who do you think is doing that? Biden and Warren and Gensler and Yellen. The people have spoken. The BRICS are already stronger than the G7. So the alignment that Russia and China and all that, they're already stronger than the G7. Shit is changing, dude. And you're trying to do everything against us, not for us as human beings. So I saw that. I was laughing in the middle of my... you go look at the interview with Furones towards the end, you start seeing my face smile because I'm like, these people are they're just disgusting, bro. They're just disgusting. And I see right through all these clowns. Just amazing, dude. But anyway, it is what it is. What do we have here? Thank you, J-Town. Alf is in the house. Not so positive IMO. Anytime the government even mentions crypto, I worry. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that side. But if we're at least, see, the good thing is, Alf, we have people that are fighting for us. So that's the good thing. We have the Emirates, what's it called? What's her name now that I just said her name now. But we have at least people already setting up the framework for us. And they've already passed at least a bipartisan bill. So this kind of X's those folks out, the extreme part of it on the Democratic side, because they're not part of this decision in the bipartisan bill. These are more of the people, the Cynthia Loomises of the world. Those kind of people are the ones that are setting up the framework. The guy with the bow tie that is leaving, he's leaving the House, unfortunately, because he's actually one of the good Republicans. He's actually one of the Republicans that is more towards the middle. He's leaving because of all the far right assholes. Damn, I forgot his name now, but he's a good dude. He's the guy that was the intern House Speaker while they were voting to try to decide to get their speaker in when they did it like the 15 times. He was the guy that was holding the fort for the moment. And then they mentioned about him trying to, run for speaker. He was like, no, dude, I don't want any part of that. I forgot his name, but he's also very pro crypto. You know what I'm saying? Those of us that are in crypto, again, I don't care about either side, but I am grateful for some of those Republicans that have actually been pro crypto. Even I can't stand Ted Cruz. That guy's a loser, but he is pro Bitcoin. Mining and everything in his state and everything. See what Paraguay is trying to do? Paraguay wants to confiscate everybody's crypto, all their Bitcoin, and the miners. That's like back in the day when they confiscated everybody's gold and all that. That's some communist shit, dude. That's some communist shit there in Paraguay. What are they, pissed off that they're in a country that has no ocean? Anyway. So there we have some of it on our side, Alf. Some of it. Not all. We're not out in the clear, my brother. I'm with you.
But we have some people fighting for the right stuff. Okay? That we do have. And the best part is Biden will not veto that bipartisan, but he was going to veto that shit. But he saw what's happening, and, well, somebody told him what's happening because he couldn't find his asshole with a funnel. Dan says, yep, digital currency is rapidly coming. It's what they want to happen, total control. Well, that's why you go to Bitcoin, baby, so they don't control you. That's it. Patrick McHenry. You're a stud, Ariel. And Alf got it too after. Thank you. And George Albanese. You guys are freaking studs. Thank you for helping me out there. Patrick McHenry is the guy. He was like, hey, would you think about being speaker? No. No me des esa jodienda. No, esa jodienda no quiero. No. He doesn't even speak Spanish, and he said jodienda. That's amazing. Yeah, Patrick McHenry doesn't know a word of Spanish, and when they asked him to be speaker, and well, can we put you in there for the no. In fact, I'm out of here. I'm not dealing with Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz anymore. I'm out of here. So, El Salvador is crypto capital of the world. Dude, about 120 companies, crypto companies have moved to El Salvador. Yeah. It's actually a great place to move in a way for future purposes because you could get a house cheap there. Bukele has cleaned up that place. He's super pro crypto. He's not taxing you for it. So, you keep dual citizenships. You know what I mean? If you live in the United States or England or whatever, you just get another passport there in El Salvador, and you can live part-time in El Salvador and here. And by the way, it's not that it's actually way better than it used to be, man. It's probably safer. Well, it's way safer than this country now. That's the crazy part. But yeah. Some of these crypto havens are going to benefit first and more than most people, but he's over 400 million already, with all they buy a Bitcoin a day. They add to their reserve. They're mining from their volcanoes, the energy from the volcanoes. They're using that energy to mine Bitcoin. They've mined a couple hundred Bitcoins like that. Bukele's doing it smart, and I would imagine that Milei or whatever, the Argentine guy, he's pro Bitcoin. I don't know how he hasn't sped that part up. I thought he would have sped it up when he took over in Argentina. He should have done what Bukele did. He should copy what Bukele has done. All these kind of countries, man, get it before it runs out. There's only a finite amount. Let's see, what do we have here? What are you guys arguing about stuff? Big O, do you think they will come up with something in crypto like how the government protects your US dollar? No, they won't. No, Trago, do you follow crypto? I don't think you understand crypto. We don't want the government involved. How does the government protect your US dollar, bro? Please explain that to me. What, that you lose it and they reprint it? They stole it, so somebody else has your money. So then they just reprint more. That's protecting you. See, that's the shit that they have programmed you with. Our last 4 presidents have printed $30 trillion. That doesn't protect us. That's what our inflation is from. We have flooded our streets with $30 extra trillion. That's why our money's devalued.
Drago, you don't you're one of those people that thinks that if you vote Biden or Trump in, it'll be better. No. They both contributed to the same mess. They have printed, between those two clowns, they've printed 16 trillion of the 30 trillion. Obama and Bush Jr. printed less. Still way too much, but printed less. But they contributed to the mess. But the mess that Trump and Biden have contributed, it's even worse. That's not protecting us, dude. The stimulus that they gave us, that's not a good thing. The way governments, that's our problem, that every government is in the red because you're allowing politicians to print and do whatever they want. And we have no control over it. And they'll pay for this and they'll pay that country and they'll give this one that and they'll give that one that. And meanwhile, they're just printing and they're devaluing our dollar. The most moronic thing out there is the people that think that the inflation is caused by just one person or something. No, dude, it's been caused by the last 4 people have crippled and just set us back for ages and ruined it for our kids. Now we're in a hole we can never get out of. All the taxes that are collected from us monthly, 63% of it goes to just paying the interest off our debt. Even before we start paying the military and Social Security and anything, any kind of program, anything, 63% of our total revenue that we've collected from taxes goes to pay off the interest in our debt. China just sold off I think it was like $80 billion of our debt. They keep unloading our debt. Why? Because they don't want to buy our debt anymore, because 10 and 30-year notes are no longer worth it. I know I'm going way over your heads now. Most of you are not even understanding what I'm talking about, but they don't even want to borrow our debt anymore because they don't think we can pay it off. As I told you, if you think our governments, I explained it to you yesterday that I said it to one of my friends. China has loaned us, Japan's loaned us even more, but China has loaned us $800 billion. Okay, now it's closer to $700 billion. $800 billion, which we use that money to give Ukraine money to fight Russia. But then monthly, we're paying China interest for the money that they've loaned us, the $800 billion. And so they're using that money to give it to Russia to fight Ukraine. Oh, and we're battling with Russia and we're putting these tariffs on them and all that stuff. And guess who was their biggest customer last year for uranium? The number one Russian customer for uranium, the United States of America. Number one customer for Russia, for Russian uranium. That's corporate capitalism for you. That's country capitalism for you. You tell me about that vicious cycle that goes on. No, average person doesn't even realize what's going on. This is the most effed up thing in the world. It's just most people don't really understand what's going on. So, but anyway, we try to enlighten not just the Dolphins, not just the Heat, not just Inter Miami, not just the Canes, once in a while, whenever they become relevant again, maybe we'll talk about some baseball team or something that's out there. No. We'll keep you enlightened on what's really going on in life, dude. At the same time, this is some screwed up shit. So, Drago, the government doesn't protect you from shit, dude. You're what's her name? Is it Patti LaBelle? On my own. That's what you better be, bro. You better learn to be on your own. And do not rely on the government, because if you rely on the government and you rely on that on fiat currency, you will die. As I told you, don't have a savings account. Have a Bitcoin account. Not a financial advisor. Just a dude using common sense. Let's see. What else do we have? True Finfin, man, this TUA BS is really getting me angry. This is what life is. Don't worry about it, bro. I dismiss it. I laugh at it. Just like my boy Frankie. I said, bro, you're a joke. It's ridiculous. It's embarrassing. All these people are pretty much embarrassing. So let them embarrass themselves. That's all. Let's see. What else? Big O, so explain to the gallery what happens if we decide not to pay the debt to China. Oh, no, they'll pay. Dude, they just open the printer up and they pay. And China will have debt and money that will be useless because it'll be devalued more and more and more. Meanwhile, all these countries are loading up on gold. Look at all precious metals, gold, silver, copper, and Bitcoin. Watch how they're all soaring. Okay? Obviously, those precious metals aren't soaring like Bitcoin, but they're still climbing. And why? Because they're collecting all over the world. They're collecting because they don't trust fiat currencies not backed by anything. And this is why we're paying more and more and more and more and more. It won't matter who you vote in. All they're going to do is keep printing more money because that's all they can do. There's no other way. You know what they're going to end up doing? You see Trudeau in Canada, 66% tax on capital gains. That's where Biden and the boys want to go. That's how they're going to do it. Oh, well, no, we have problems. We have to go after, capital gains. And that'll be their. So the problems they created, they're going to want to abuse the human life in order to make up for it. I don't know when the Great Reset will happen, like they talk about, but it will happen. 5, 10, 15 years from now. But some's going to happen and some's going to give. And it's going to be really bad for our kids. Let's see. What else do we have? Yeah, we do need a new system, but I'm not smart enough to figure it out right now, how you reset and do everything. Jeremy says, I sent you the debt. Jeremy, I have the link. I have the world debt clock. All you have to do is go look at the world debt clock. That's what it's called. Here, I'll show it to you guys. I think I've shown this before on the show, the world debt clock. You're going to freak out on this. Here's the world debt clock. Okay. Let me show you. Let me show you, man. Let me show you. I already know about this, Jeremy. There you go. So this is in real time. Okay. Open it up for me there, Sean. So in real time, we're at $34 trillion in national debt. China's at 14, Japan's at 13 trillion, Germany's at 3 trillion, UK's at nearly 4 trillion, India's at 3 trillion, France is nearly 4 trillion. So all these countries are in massive debt. Massive debt. And they cannot reverse they can't pay off this debt, pretty much. It's impossible for them. And it doesn't matter. Look at it. Look at it. They're all in the red. Every one of them. Turkey's 425 trillion. That's crazy. Anyway, so Turkey's isn't their inflation like 200% or something ridiculous? this is bad. This is everywhere. All currencies will fold, every one of them. And so now that's why you see countries all over the world, they're trying, except for us, of course, because we're stupid. They're trying to load up on precious metals at this point. By the way, there's our merchandise stop right there, our shop. You can buy some shirts and hats. Hopefully we'll be getting them very soon so we can start mailing them out. And thank you all, those of you that have put in the first few orders. You can use that QR code. You can go to bigoradioshow.myshopify.com. Got plenty of shirts there. The shirts come in 10 different colors, so you can switch them up. 305 shirts. We've got Truth shirts. We got Bitcoin shirts. We got Blind Ass Fan shirts. Big O Show hats. Bitcoin Big O Show hats. All kinds of stuff, man. So please check it out. It's a great way to support us. Next month is going to be our 4th anniversary, man. So we're pretty excited, completing our 4th year, doing this. I don't think a lot of people thought we could last 4 months, and we've lasted 4 years doing this. And thanks to you all watching, hitting the like button, visiting our amazing sponsors like Caneswear, man. You can use our code BIG010. You will get 10% off at Caneswear. And remember, if you order online over $99, you will get free shipping. And the other way to support our show is making a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. And of course, you can make a Bitcoin donation, which we love our Bitcoin donations. And right now we are back at 70,000 once again. We hit a little dip of like 69.5. And we have popped now to 7,100 now. So it was just at 70 and it went up $100 right now. So we are looking for the run to 73 or 74. When that hits, that's what's going to trigger the shorts, and we're going to pop right away to 80. Okay? So it's pretty cool. Let me tell you something. There's a chance today we could have that mega candle or God candle. I forgot which one it is now. I always forget the God candle's 10,000 and then the mega candle's 100,000, or the mega candle is 10,000. The God candle's 100,000. I'm going to go God candle 10,000. And since you started the day around 69, 70, if you go to 73, 74 today, and then it just catapults it to 80, you could have your first one. It's going to happen. It's going to happen twice, my prediction. We will have 2 10,000K candles plus in this bull run. I don't know when, but I wouldn't even be surprised if it happens pretty soon here. Because once those shorts are liquidated, whoo, doggy, that's going to be a lot of fun. Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Why don't we? We love talking about 3A Graphics and Alan Blanco. We're talking about our shirts and hats. You're going to see their incredible work. And if you need it for your business, if you need new uniforms or hats or shirts or whatever it is, please call the great people at 3A Graphics and call Alan Blanco. Here's the business number, 786-618-1443. Support the amazing sponsors that support us. All right. Tonight, Game 1, Eastern Conference Finals, 8 o'clock, ESPN, Panthers and Rangers. Panthers favored by 1.5 goals, plus 220 there. If you take that, the over and under is 5.5 goals. Panthers minus 115. The Rangers are minus 105. Celtics last night over the Pacers, 133-128 in overtime. They take a 1-0 lead in the best-of-7 series. They should have lost yesterday. Pacers with 21 turnovers. Oh, wait, 22. They just turned it over again. Tonight at 8:30, TNT. It's the Mavericks and the T-Wolves, Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals at the Target Center. Mavs. The over and under is 207. T-Wolves are favored by 4.5. T-Wolves minus 180 on the money line. The Mavericks are plus 150. Give the Mavs a lot of credit. They got farther than I expected them, man, to be honest. T-Wolves should win this one. Saturday, Inter Miami will visit Vancouver. And the over and under is 3.5 goals in that one. Inter Miami plus 140 on the money line. Vancouver plus 155 on the money line. If you want to give a half a goal for Inter Miami, you will get plus 135. So actually not a bad gamble. That's not too bad. So that is our 3A Graphics sports calendar. All right. Chad says Orvieto's does glasswork. Could possibly help the big old bong. Just saying. Yeah, I don't think they make bongs. That's I don't think they're in the business for that. But so I'm happy. I appreciate you trying. I know I could get 3A Graphics involved in the graphics part of it, but it's like I literally have to find somebody that will design them for us. So yeah, we're gonna need like a glass expert. Anybody know a glass company that wants to partner with us on this? That's all. Chad, I can have you, use your expertise, right? I don't unfortunately, what's it called? NorCal doesn't live here. But since you you don't really live right here since you're up, a little north, but still we can get together and you can help me design it. You know what I'm saying? Since I can use your expertise in the bong area. You know what I'm saying? But we need, I think we're going to need like a glass company. Dan says, bro, they're asking people how they're going to spend their money when they withdraw from their account before they give it to. I know, right? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Bitcoin, bro. Get your money out of banks. Get your money out of banks. Banks don't even have your money. That's the worst part about it. Let's see. Wake me up when we are actually talking sports. I love it. I love the people that don't want to make a little money. What else? Yeah, no, the U.S. debt won't be paid back in anybody's lifetime. We're way past that already. Imagine running our personal finances like most countries do. Yeah, no, they can't. We can't. Big O, Jay says, had any questions about the success of the Big O radio show on YouTube? Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Well, thanks to you, Jay, and many others. I know you've been more than 4 years. You've been, supporting us for, I don't know, dude, close to 20 years maybe. So, you've been always a strong supporter of our show, and I love you for that, man. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. But we still need support, and we need more sponsors. Definitely, we'd like to add some travel to our stuff. So yes, we definitely need to grow the show still a little bit more. You're looking for a Bongstradamus, says Brett Dodger. House of Window in Hialeah asked for Joel. He's a hardcore Falcons fan. Bro, you want me to call somebody cold call? I mean, Lewis, you're here all the time. Let's go. Put in a call. You know the guy. Ask him, hey, listen, got a popular show. It's got over 20,000 subscribers, millions of views, millions of audio downloads. Looking for a partner to create glass bongs for us. Can you do it? There you go. Ask him. Plus, House of Windows doesn't really mean you do that stuff. You do know that, right? House of Windows doesn't sound like somebody that does the neon signs and stuff like that. That's the kind of person that you're looking at. The the window is not really somebody that designs glass. That's not really what it's for. Just saying. It's probably better somebody that works in signs. That's the glass expert that knows how to do funky designs and all that kind of stuff and has the equipment to do that. I don't even think a window shop will have that equipment unless he does it on the side like a hobby. So there you go. The big O bong needs a percolator. Big O is looking for his bong shula. You guys are too much, bro. Oh, man. All right. What else do we have going on in the world of sports? So we talked about the Tua overreaction with our boy Frankie Fresco, which was embarrassing. Yesterday, by the way, besides Tua, Tyreek Waddle, Odell Mostert, Jonnu Smith, Jalen Ramsey, Sealer, Fuller, and Shaq also missed. So kind of tells you, the whole overreaction on it is just ridiculous. Now, Javon Holland. Let's get into a little Javon Holland talk because he let Fangio have it. And I'm glad he let Fangio have it. And let me explain something to you. For those of you that don't know, yesterday, Javon Holland addressed the media and, was talking about the comparison with Weaver's approach. And he said a complete 180. Actually, Weave is super dope, man. Like a person, an ex-player, as a coach, you can feel he understands where we're coming from. He wants to hear our input on the defense, and then he's able to put in to it how the defense is called and how the defense is taught. So he's a great man. When they followed up and they asked him, about what makes the difference, and he said, I just think the fact that he's a good person makes a difference. And obviously, look, Javon Holland had the video when they fired Fangio to kick rocks. Fangio was dead set in his ways. It was his way or the highway. He wasn't a guy that was going to work with players. He's the old school guy. Hey, look, I'm teaching. This is what you need to do. If you don't listen to me, you're wrong. You're going to fail and you're not going to play. So clearly, Javon Holland did not appreciate his style. I don't know what happened behind the scenes with Javon Holland and Vic Fangio, but clearly Holland wasn't a fan of it. And when he says, okay, it's like a person, an ex-player as a coach, you can feel he understands where we're coming from. He wants to hear us in our input on the defense and then is able to put that into how the defense is called and how the defense is taught. So now you're talking about a two-way street. You're talking about interaction. You're talking about taking input in from a player. I remember Channing Crowder. He'll tell this story 100 times over because he kind of tells he'll repeat his stories there on the radio show all the time. And one of the stories that he's repeated many times over is the one that he was telling Pasqualoni that was calling a certain defense, and he had to cover somebody out in the open field. And he was like, I think it might have been Tony Gonzalez or some running back or something. And he's like, you keep calling this and I can't cover him. And Crowder is being honest with his coach at that moment. And the coach will have none of it. And so that's the part that becomes kind of unacceptable to these players. So wait a minute, I'm giving you feedback. I'm not telling you that I'm a failure. I'm not willing to do it or anything. But that moment, Crowder is doing something that is, ballsy, gutsy, honest. He's trying to communicate, trying to tell, hey, the coach, listen, man, this is not a good call because I can't do this. You're asking me to do something I can't do. So he's trying to even help you as a coach, like, you may want to adjust because you're calling something that's going to fail, and I'm telling you that it's going to fail. It's a great story by Crowder. because you have to look more deep into that, and you have to look at what's going on. It's not just the humor part of it that Crowder puts into it like he normally does, which is fantastic, but it's really the message is being missed by the coach. Probably happened to Fangio a lot, where he didn't care what you were going to say or what your input was. In the end, I'm dead set on what I'm doing. Do what I say and you'll be fine. And look, he had a top 10 defense. Was he perfect? No. And we all saw it. There were moments that he should have done things and he didn't. And we all know what games they were, and we've talked about it over ad nauseum. But this is why Javon Holland is saying this, because clearly there was a disconnect. People have changed, man. Your kids are different than when you were kids. You can't parent the way they parented you. There's no way I can do things to my daughter that they did to me when I was young, bro. No way. I can't. I'm like 7 or 8 years old. I'm on the boat with the dad. I love my dad to death. Rest in peace. Didn't know how to swim at that moment. And I told him, man, you got to teach me how to swim, because I wanted to do the skin diving. You know, he'd go spear fishing and all that, and I wanted to do it. And I would be up in the boat, and he'd come up, hand me the spear fish with 2 or 3 fish connected to it, and, you know, I'd help take them off. And I'm like, hey, you know, when are you going to help? When are you going to teach me? Right now. Boom. He threw me right off the boat in the ocean. Not a pool, but the ocean. I do that to my daughter now. She'll be damaged for the rest of her life, and she'll hold it against me for the rest. You guys know how, you know, these kids are, these Gen Zs and millennials, right? That's the last 2 generations. You try doing that kind of shit to a kid like that nowadays. They're like elephants. Their memories, they'll never forget. They'll torture you for the rest of your. I can't believe you pushed me off the boat. I could have died. My dad swam like a fish. Like a freaking fish, dude. He would go down with a spearfish, a spear gun. I'm telling you, he'd come up with 2, 3, 4 fish. He'd spear a fish, then hit it all the way back in the back of the pole into the rope. Then he'd load it back up again, dive back down, go kill another one. He wasn't going to come up for every fish. Hell no. That son of a bitch could scale a fish like it was nothing. It was awesome, because we'd fish and then we'd cook, and he'd like skin that shit like nothing. And I never had a damn bone in my fish ever. I ate it carefully, as always, like you should eat all fish. But that son of a bitch could scale those fishes like, man. It was like, dude, you should be working in the market in Seattle. That fish market in Seattle. There's a lot of shit that they did to me that I could never do to my kid nowadays. And, you know, you're Anthony Weaver, you have to be different than Vic Fangio, than Jimmy Johnson, than Don Shula, and so on and so forth. And, you know, it's changed. The person has changed. The society has changed, and the coach has to adjust. And this coach did not adjust. He's still a great coach, but you have to understand he's kind of set in his ways, right? When we went to school, things changed too, but you still ran into that old school teacher that was like, wow, this is like, oh, we're going back in a time. But you knew it, and you had no choice. No choice. Dead set in their ways. You have a grandfather, a grandmother, a great-grandfather, a great-grandmother. They're set in their ways. And they will not be able to manage a smartphone. They don't know what social media is. They want nothing to do with it. Whatever it is. If you got an old Latin parent, they're telling you that the Miami Herald is communist, and you're not going to change their minds. There's a couple Latin people laughing their asses off right now going, that's my great-grandfather. Yeah, that's my grandfather. Yeah. Yeah, he's 75, 85. He still says, ese papel comunista. I mean, just kind of, what are you going to do? You going to change your minds? No. So that's the monster that Javon Holland is talking about. The monster we've all dealt with. And it's just, that's it. Old guy that won't change. That's all it is. Let's see. McDaniel has a lot to prove. Yes. Big O, could you imagine Vince Lombardi coaching today's players? Yeah, he can't. He can't. Okay, there's a bunch of crap, I guess, going on back and forth. Not stuff that I am involved in, so I guess we will avoid the chat board instead. It looks like it's a bunch of stuff there. Did you guys see Kobayashi is retiring? And he's retiring. I'm not one of the guys that follows this food crap, but I will say this about it. The dude is retiring for health reasons. And I'm kind of not surprised, right? I don't think any of us. It says Joey Chestnut's longtime opponent revealed in the news and Netflix that Hack Your Health, the secrets of your gut, saying he's ready to focus on his well-being and repair the damage he's done to his body over 2 decades. So Kobayashi reportedly found himself in I don't care about that. Contract dispute, all that stuff. But anyway, he says he's saying he's lost his appetite and ability to even smell food, which was a wake-up call for him to make drastic lifestyle changes. I want to live a healthy and long life, so I've decided to quit competitive eating contests. And you think about it, dude, the training or the hell you put your body through for that shit, it's got to do some serious damage. Man, that's some nasty stuff. I can't watch that stuff. To me, it's gross, especially you're dipping a hot dog in water. I mean, I don't even want to remind myself of a hot dog from Dairy Queen. That's already enough as it is for me. Okay? Hot dog from Dairy Queen is more than enough. By the way, does any of you out there watching or maybe listening later on the podcast, you can email me at bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. You guys can always email us anytime, bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Anybody been to Claw Steakhouse in Miami? It's in Edgewater. KLAW Steakhouse. Apparently it's one of the top steakhouses in the country. The best, supposedly, here in South Florida. So I'm thinking of taking my man Steve Calabro, because remember I was thinking of going to what's the name of this place that closed down that I used to love? The Forge. And then you guys reminded me that it closed. And so, and then I was thinking some other places, but he had been to Runway 84, and we were talking about maybe Boca Prime or Prime Boca. No, is it Prime Boca Prime? I think it is, right? Or some Prime Steakhouse, whatever, up in Boca. So I saw this place, Claw Steakhouse. So I'm wondering if anybody has a spy report for me on that, because I'd like to see if it's as good as people think it is. That'd be pretty interesting to find out. All this food talk must be getting close to lunchtime. Well, it is 11:46 here. I don't know where you're at, Ryan, But yeah, it's lunchtime. That hot dog from Dairy Queen really left a mark on you. Oh, God, I'll never forget, bro. It was 3 days of just absolute hell. That's all I can tell you. 3 days of hell. It was bad. It was bad. Use Dairy Queen's hot dogs for the gluttony contest. No one would put on weight since they would be all upchucking it all right after the contest. That's it. Eddie Vento, yeah, our better would have been better, but I was in the panhandle, starving, so I just said something to go and pulled up to a drive-through. Man, that was a terrible, terrible, terrible move on my part. Holy shit, that was a terrible move. Let's do it. Let's go to music history. In 1966, a 16-year-old Bruce Springsteen began his songwriting career in the back of a 61 Mercury on the way to a recording studio when he and singer George Thies co-wrote That's What You Get and Baby I for their band, The Castiles. In 71, the Rolling Stones' Sticky Fingers hit #1 on the album charts. In 1980, U2 kicked off their 23-date 11 o'clock TikTok tour in London. In 76, Wings started a 5-week run at #1 on the singles charts with Silly Love Songs. I look around me and I see it isn't so. Oh, no. In 2003, Coldplay won Songwriter of the Year honors at the 48th Annual Ivor Novello Awards, which celebrates composers. In 2009, that must have been for clocks, right? White Stripes drummer Meg White married Jackson Smith at the Nashville home of Meg's ex-husband, bandmate Jack White. And that's what happened today in Musica history. Let's go with famous birthdays. Let's start off with that. And Naomi Campbell, the model, is 53 years old. Novak Djokovic, the Joker, is 36 years old. Bryan Danielson, wrestler, 42. Do I get a thumbs up there? Yep, I got one from Sean. He is legit. Morrissey, Smith singer and solo stud. He is 64. I need to go to another Morrissey concert. It's therapeutic. Need it. Need it. Julian Edelman is 37 years old. George Best, soccer player, born in 46 on this date. We lost him, unfortunately, in 2005. And Lexi Pantera, R&B singer, is 34 years old today. Okay. We got that. Now let's go with musicians, because sometimes this list doesn't always have all the, like it doesn't have all the wrestlers, and that's why I always ask Sean, because he's got the one for wrestlers. Let's start looking for some of these. Dan Roberts, bassist for the Canadian band Crash Test Dummies, born in the state in 1967. Johnny Gill, actor, songwriter, and singer, of course, with New Edition and solo, was born on this date in 1966. Jesse Valenzuela from Gin Blossoms. He was born in 1962. Who else? Jerry Dammers, founding member and keyboard player for The Specials, was born on this date in 1954. The great Bernie Taupin, English lyricist, poet, singer with Elton John, longtime songwriting partner also for Rod Stewart, Cher, The Motels, John Waite, Starship, Alice Cooper have all recorded his songs. Bernie, kind of an ass kicker, born on this date in 1950. Bill Lorden, by the way, drummer for Sly and the Family Stone, was born on this date in 1947. Calvin Simon was born in 1942, with singer, by the way, with Parliament and Funkadelic. Let's see. I think that is it. Yes, that is it. Sean, any wrestlers that we need to know about celebrating birthdays today?
Yes, besides the Bryan Danielson one that you already mentioned, it is the loose cannon, Brian Pillman, may he rest in peace, Scott Putski, Tracy Brooks, and Joe Coffey, who was in NXT.
All right.
Those are your birthdays.
Those are your birthdays today. And in the entertainment world, by the way, I got to check this. What happened? What finally happened? Well, by the way, 70,400 now. Looks like Bitcoin has now made almost $1,000 climb. Remember, I told you it was at 69.5. It dipped. So now is this the pop? We'll see. We'll see. We need a little bit more than that. Let's see. What do we got? All right. All right. Third row, baby. We're in. My buddy got them. Good. I got tickets for the Violent Femmes. They're coming September 27th to the Pompano Beach Amphitheater. So looking forward to that. Anybody going to go see the Violent Femmes? Ah, yes, I got blister in the sun. Let me go on. Big hands, I know you're the one. Can't wait. Can't wait. I love it. Stephen Harris says, Big O, did you hear about the retired Red Sox player who was arrested for a sting operation of chatting with? Yes, I heard about that. Yes. I forgot the guy's name, but yes, I heard about that scumbag. Yes. Yes. I'm glad that they've got those sting operations, man. I saw one where like some regular people did their own sting operations and they cornered the guy and then called the cops. Alex says, fun fact, Big O, your experience with DQ got me to try their hot dogs. No issue to report. Well, you didn't do it in the Panhandle. See, that's where it's different. It's like Dougie Fresh points out. It's probably, rat meat or something like that. So in the Panhandle, you got to be a little braver to eat hot dogs from Dairy Queen in the Panhandle of Florida. In other words, really just being in the Panhandle of Florida is a little bit more of a, risk in life as it is. True Finn fan says, I'm a big Abba Hele fan. Yeah. I got to ask, what's worse? Going through the whole Dairy Queen hot dog nightmare or listening to Elizabeth Warren? Oh, no, Elizabeth Warren. No. Yeah, there's nothing worse than that bitch. Oh, my God. That is one of the most useless turds in the history of politics. My God, just a rabble-rouser. She's just loud and runs her mouth and has no substance to her whatsoever, dude. There are some stupid-ass people in, in the Boston area, right? New England area, is that what it is? That's her, it's kind of like, who are the people in the Panhandle that are voting in Matt Gaetz? Who are the people in Georgia that think Marjorie Taylor Greene makes sense? It's just like, wow. It's the kind of shit that I can't explain. What can I tell you? Okay. Big O, did Marino ever miss OTAs? I'm just asking. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he missed them. Sometimes he might have had a commitment, or he also may have had a scope or stuff like that. But yeah, he missed it. Everybody's missed OTAs. Everybody misses OTAs, bro. That's normal. You know what I mean? It's not, listen, when it's a problem, it's Jimmy Butler. You know, when you're missing the regular season or in football training camp or something, you know, that kind of stuff. But OTAs, bro, they were. Yesterday, Shaq Barrett was out, who hasn't been in the system. Jonnu Smith, not in the system. Kendall Fuller, not in the system. Odell Beckham. Happens. Nothing goes on that's serious in OTAs. It's just, I almost think like they've come up with all these OTAs in the offseason because football players, there's a group of them that can't be trusted with dead time. So this is kind of like a way for them to have some camaraderie, conditioning, do a little classroom work, but you're not really doing any real hard work, you know? So it's just silliness. That's all. Pure silliness. Jeff from Long Island. I'm letting it play, just starting the show, so I'm not live right now. Strzok held out every year. Yeah, remember that? Strzok used to miss a lot because he didn't need it. He wasn't stupid. It's not the end of the world, dude. You know? Plus, again, as I've explained, you know, earlier, he's proven so much in every other way. So we got about 70,500 right now. So let's see what happens if Bitcoin is trying to pop. It's at 80. Oh, it popped to 1% now. So it's up to 1%. I was gonna say it was 800th of a percent, but no, we are at 1% now. So let's see what happens. This is what I told you. If it can make the run to 73 or 74, then we've got a shot at making a real run. Ethereum, by the way, is pretty much leveled at 3,764. The markets, by the way, have opened down. The Dow is down 77 points. The S&P is down nearly 5 points. The NASDAQ is barely up 0.005 of a point. And don't forget, you can also shop in our merch show, our merch shop, that is. We got shirts and hats. So check it out. All kinds of shirts, all kinds of hats. So appreciate all of you. There's the QR code. If you're listening on the podcast, it's bigoradioshow.myshopify.com. All right. Bro, we are in May. Let's judge the team once they're on the field. Just think it's stupid. We want to make this narrative. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It makes zero sense. It's kind of insulting. What else do I have? Do I have anything else to talk about? I think I don't, guys. I think I'm kind of out of material. So, you got any questions? Any real questions? By the way, there's 127, 145 watching. Come on, man. Let's get it. You know that there's more of you that can hit it without it. So you got any real questions? Not arguments amongst yourselves. Do you got any real questions? Sports, music, life, crypto, anything. Anything. I saw yesterday on Twitter, they tweeted out that yesterday was, I think, the final episode of Miami Vice. And one of my replies was that Miami Vice was the best soundtrack ever. I put this show will always be in my top 10 favorites of all time, which Miami Vice, if I talk about my top 10 TV shows, I don't know where I'm going to put Miami Vice, 1 or 5 or 3 or 7, but I guarantee you it's one of my top 10 if I start thinking about it. Probably my top 5. But what I think is not up for any debate whatsoever, to me, no TV show ever had a better soundtrack. Had or has. Okay? One guy sent in what's it called? Damn it, what's the name of that show? Let me look it up now. And he had a good point. What's the name of that kid show, dude? Oh God, now I'm forgetting it now. Oh God, the one with the kid that he had a crush on the girl, and it had a great soundtrack. I'm forgetting it now. Yeah, Drago, that's intro. Soundtrack, my brother. Like music throughout the show all the time.
You talking about Wonder Years?
Wonder Years, that's it. Wonder Years. And it was a great suggestion. Wonder Years had a great soundtrack. And Supernatural. Any of you watch Supernatural? With the brothers, their soundtrack, classic rock. Oh, shit. It is awesome. But Miami Vice had classic music. It had new music, like the latest music that was on the charts would be on Miami Vice. And not only that, the artists would then also, whether it was Phil Collins, because In the Air Tonight was big for them, or whether it was Glenn Fry with the Smuggler's Blues, or whether it was Meatloaf, or several. There's some other artists that like legit that were there. Like they had the whole deal, dude. Miami Vice had it all. Had the star power of it, had the latest music with fashion, all that kind of stuff. Dude, iconic stuff, iconic scenes that went with the music. Like somebody was, talking about when Honeymoon Suites Bad Attitude started, shit was about to go down. Iconic series, that kind of stuff. Taps 13 put that out there. That was one of the responses. And there's so many, it's not just like Drago said, oh, Hawaii 5-0. Yeah. Jan Hammer had the theme song of Miami Vice, which is a great theme song. I'm not talking about theme song. I'm talking about soundtrack. And that constantly, it just hits you, dude. Practically every episode had a couple of songs that were just iconic, that went with it, that just went with the scene, the moment, the drama, whatever it was just beautifully done. And to me, no show. When I saw that yesterday, that they tweeted the series finale of Miami Vice aired 35 years ago on May 21st, 1989 on NBC. And to this day, I'll watch a Miami Vice episode every once in a while. I love to see old Miami also, right? Because now I'm 40 years ago now that I can say, 45 years ago now I can say that was old Miami, and I can see how old Miami Beach was and all that kind of. I kind of trip out with that kind of stuff. I love that, and especially when they're filming scenes, I kind of okay, that's over there at Crandon Park, and that's over there in Miami Beach, and that's on 5th Street, and that's on 41st, and that's on 163rd, and that's over there by 21st Street and Wolfies and all that, all that kind of shit. I'm so into that. You know what I mean? So obviously Miami Vice has personally something also for me because shit, I lived the 80s. That's, that's like any man will tell you their heyday was what, and then I would tell you probably the 80s. You know what I mean? And so that was just magical. So when I saw that, no doubt Wonder Years was fantastic. And I'll add Supernatural. I don't know how many of you watch Supernatural, so some of you may not know. But those of you that watch Supernatural, you know the soundtrack of Supernatural is absolutely fantastic. And I know that some of you have, I think some people have mentioned, I don't watch it, but I think Stranger Things also does a good job, apparently, with all kinds of music. So that's also the thing. But yeah, that was cool to see and talk a little bit about it yesterday. Final score for tonight's game: Panthers 4, Rangers 2. That's where I'm going. Big O, do you think? What did you think about Diddy's weak apology? Did you make a segment on that on the audio side, Sean? You did, right? On the Diddy's apology. I did think it was weak. I'm not going to go over all of it again, but yeah, definitely. And there's probably an audio link to it there on our podcast. I don't think he did a video of it, but I know he did an audio one probably. Your thoughts on Tyson Fury? I think is a product of a lack of competition in today's heavyweight division. The heavyweight division's slightly better than it's been the last 20 years, but not where it used to be. And he got a little cocky in this one, and he got what he deserved. He lost. Yes, sir.
Yes, it's on Monday's listing called Diddy the Scumbag.
There you go. Diddy the Scumbag. Go to the podcast and check it out. It's there. He slices all up. He doesn't slice it all up for video, but on the audio side, he does slice it up with a Ginsu knife. And so a lot of the things that a lot of the rants are there. A lot of the things. Are there any implications, difference if a player is injured during a private off-season training program versus official? Oh, yeah. Yeah, because legally, they don't even have to cover your expenses for medically. In fact, that could void your contract. That could also free them up of commitments to you. So, yeah. Gordon Shumway says Frank Zappa was one of my favorite Miami Vice villains. There you go. Another one. Frank Zappa. Dude, nothing has ever existed like Miami Vice soundtrack wise. Nothing will ever even come close. Stranger Things and Mad Men and Suits didn't have bad soundtracks. I watched Suits. I don't remember it having such a phenomenal soundtrack. Love Suits, man. The women on Suits, wow. They look good and they dress, wow. Sexy, professional. It was just one of those things. I like Suits. Suits was a fun show, man. I don't know about the resurrected Suits. I don't know about that one, but the original one, I do like that. I don't know enough about Stranger Things to comment on it. But man, I don't remember Suits having such a soundtrack nothing like Miami Vice. Nothing like that. Zappa was one of my favorite songwriters and musicians of all time. He is in a class all by himself, dude. Miami Vice introduced me to the coolness of Miami. Yes, sir. Phil Collins, that's right. Stranger Things, Metallica, sweet mention, yep. You know what? One Tree Hill, Gordon. That's where I found out about Fall Out Boy. I never knew anything about Fall Out Boy until One Tree Hill. I don't ever want to be anything that I'm, whatever, right? I forgot the guys. That song, I remember that. Yeah, One Tree Hill. There, I love the intro song. And they did have a good soundtrack. That's a very good one, Gordon. Very good one and a good show. I want to say about the first 6-7 seasons, it was really, really good. It kind of jumped the shark towards the end, but I really enjoyed One Tree Hill. Had a lot going on, man. Especially, I want to say like the first 4 or 5 seasons were super juicy. Yeah. Yeah. Good soundtrack, too. That's a really good call, Gordon. Good call. Joseph says, I'm late, but I'm here, Big O. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. George Albany says, Miami Vice had a sick soundtrack. The show itself was way ahead of its time. One of the best ever, no doubt. I was a kid when Miami Vice was on. The music for that show was awesome. My two favorites are Phil Collins' In the Air Tonight and Godley and Cream's Cry. That episode was awesome. Big O, they would film at Jimbo's. What a place. Sad to see it gone. They that show was just legendary, man. Legendary. Yes, American Hero was a fun theme song. Yes, it was. Yeah, but it's not soundtrack. I was addicted to Miami Vice when I was younger. Yeah, of course. Great show. Why do the Miami Hurricanes use the visitors' locker room and the visitors use the Dolphins' locker room? Or maybe it's because I think it's because isn't it a Hurricanes locker room? Don't they have a Hurricanes locker room? It's the visitors' locker room? I thought they had a Hurricanes locker room. And I don't know why I'm imagining that the Canes have their own locker room at that stadium. Man, I'm confused now. I'm not sure. I don't really go to games anymore. So I can't tell you. I got to plead ignorance here. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure, but I thought I understood that they built specifically a locker room for the Canes in the stadium. And then maybe the visitors are using the Dolphin locker room, but I thought the Canes had their own. I might be wrong. You know what? I'll text Manny. Frankie says, wait, hold on, Big O. I heard your take. Tua shows leadership. I get it, but commitment is starting to be a question. It's not only all those guys that did not show up. Frankie, bro, you just continue to embarrass yourself. Thanks for the super chat, but dude, these are OTAs, bro. People have been missing. I don't know what football you've been watching, but people have missed OTAs for years, for personal reasons, for professional reasons. This is nothing new, dude. He's not missing training camp. Nobody's more committed to his craft than Tua. So you did not listen to me. You're not paying attention. You're just going straight on with your wrong point, and you're just making yourself look even more ignorant. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, dude. This is embarrassing. You're only embarrassing yourself, in my eyes at least. I'm telling you straight up. This is embarrassing. The fact that you're questioning any of this is some silly ass shit, dude. How do you feel about Jimmy Butler then? If you're questioning this, what's Jimmy Butler? It's got to be communist now, right? By this point, he's not even like lazy. He's communist at this point, right? Like he's a criminal at this point in your eyes, right? I mean, if this is a crime, Tua and the guys missing now, lack of commitment, which it's like, go look at the other 31 teams, a bunch of players probably missed. So what's Jimmy Butler in your eyes? My God, give him the electric chair? Big O, how about the story of Shula being introduced to John? Yeah, and he had no idea who he is from Miami Vice and proceeded to thank him for all he does as a police officer. He had no idea he was on the show. Yeah, I've heard that story. You know what? I didn't watch Twin Peaks, so I wouldn't even know if they had a good soundtrack or not, my brother. Did not see Twin Peaks. And Jessica Biel, right? I mean, that alone is worth watching Twin Peaks, right? Isn't it Jessica Biel? That's where she made her name. Man, that woman has got a body and a half. Cobra Kai has a great soundtrack. Yeah, because of the throwback issues to it. And when you go back to the Camaro every time, I got you. I got you. Great soundtrack. I'm not putting it in Miami Vice's category, but I can't argue with that. I can't argue with Supernatural or Wonder Years. Those are also great soundtracks. You know, the other ones that you guys have mentioned, I didn't watch those shows, so I don't know. Somebody else would have to agree with you with Twin Peaks. So there we go. Chris, stay on topic. TV shows. Some of you have a problem with TV shows and soundtrack. We already had one guy that wanted to talk about the theme. Nobody said TV theme. We said soundtrack. Nobody said movies. We said TV shows. Okay? So there's a problem in this country that when we get into discussions, and it happens all the time on feeds for me, then somebody will come out of left field with something that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. So let's straighten you out and let's get you back on target. Okay? Anyway. Great point on Jimmy. Yeah, I mean, you know. Let's see, what else do we have? Am I the only person cooler than Crockett and Tubbs was Edward James Olmos? He always had that little skinny ass black tie. Oh my God. Jessica Biel's in the movie Stealth. Okay. I'm getting $3,000 tomorrow, all on Bitcoin. Look, good for you, bro. Good for you. You want to see old Miami? Watch Que Pasa USA. Yeah, that'll show you old Miami. OTAs are not nearly as important as training camp. OTAs are more important to rookies and younger and less experienced players. Exactly. For mental reps. And to keep people maybe off the street. That's about it. All right, we thank David Furones. He's such a stud. Appreciate him. And our Welton Rail Miami Dolphins report. We thank, of course, the great Sean Stanley, always getting it done, driving this program. We thank all of you, of course, for keeping it locked here. Thank you for participating on the show and supporting our great sponsors. Visit our merch shop, shirts and hats there. Great way to support our show. Don't forget to hit the hell out of the like button before you go. Another great way to support. Watch time is very important on YouTube. Watch. In fact, let it play and walk away. That's what I always say. Let it play and walk away. Appreciate all of you out there. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon at Hialeah Park at 3 o'clock. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the Big O Show.